Mom! Dad's got another tattoo!
Is the cure for imposter syndrome narcissism? Is Richard wasting his life washing his car? Spoiler, of course he fucking is. We also cover smartphone addiction, medieval kings, giving up booze, TV licence detection vans, and the mystery of the vanishing sock. All delivered with the professionalism you have come to expect as we navigate midlife. Hello and welcome to episode 10 of fucking hell. What was
Fuck
that?
me. It's my zip. Such a professional.
Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Mum, Dad's Got Another Tattoo, the Midlife Crisis podcast. I'm Mark and I'm here with my co-host Richard and his fucking zip.
Listen, I'd like to point out it was a zip on my top and not my flyers. So I can only apologise about that as you were talking. Hello, how's everyone doing?
Well, I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. And I've been thinking about something you said all week. Since the last episode, which is about the technology that you had put or given to your daughter in order to give her a bit of freedom, but also you a bit of peace of mind. So if you haven't heard that, it's what is it, like a smartwatch or something like that?
Yeah, it's called it's a smartwatch. No free ads. Yeah, it's a smartwatch. You get them on we saw it on Amazon, read the reviews on it. You put a SIM card in it. And they have data so they can make calls, but to only specified people. It's got live GPS tracking. You can look at it any time on an app. And yeah, it's just a nice way to give your kids a bit more freedom, but just feel safe.
Yep, I think that's a great idea. However, the thing that occurred to me was that is yet another little hook that bastard smartphone has in your body that you just can't unhook yourself, because periodically I think to myself, do you know what, I need to do something about endlessly scrolling on phones and what have you. And I think there is a little market for the dumb phone, but which has phone calls, text messages, and maybe WhatsApp, which would be very useful. But if you think of the uses that your phone has, I mean, it is almost impossible to disentangle yourself from it. I'm just looking at the apps that I use, that I would say that I actually need, or like on a daily basis. So you've got WhatsApp, I've contact family, friends, work colleagues, loads of WhatsApp chat on there. Internet, obviously, maps, banking, podcasts. Everyone listening to this is a podcast fan, and I bet everyone's doing it onto your phone. So all I need is a dumb phone, but with all those features on it. And I try and what I'm really talking about, of course, is social media, forums, Reddit. I'm always on like doom scrolling there, Instagram, looking at tattoos, and also uploading stuff as well. I'm a proper slave to all these things, and it just seems that without that iron discipline, again, it's a little bit like the Manjaro thing, actually, where you're required to have some discipline versus billion-dollar tech companies who are spending as much money as they possibly can in order to make you spend as much time as possible on their app. What chance?
Their whole thing's about addiction. The colour schemes aren't by chance. I think we discussed this before, but the colour schemes aren't by chance.
No, well, nothing. Well, we're saying anything like that. We were talking about how supermarkets were laid out, and all the impulse buys that you have at the checkout are very rarely courgettes, aubergines, and apples. They're the chocolate stuff that your lizard brain sees and wants to go for. But as you say, the apps, the colour schemes, the algorithm, the stuff that it forces you, all by design.
Yeah, when I started my company, and listen, you know me, I'm not that deep when it comes to stuff like that. When someone I was speaking to, my colour scheme was based on, because when you look into it, it's an education, it's a thing of comfort, power, education. And I was like, I never even knew this existed. And all these companies know it. There's a good app out there that I've heard people use that at a certain time of night you can set a timer, and I think everyone probably knows about it, but it greys out your phone. And people were saying from podcasts I've listened to that it's you notice the difference when you're looking at it in grey, black and white, how the dopamine isn't there.
Yeah, I did something very similar actually a couple of years ago, which is I've got an iPhone, and on the
someone's earning
fucking Android bores, right? You're an Android. Is anyone actually going to change their mind about what operating system they're going to use? By the way, stop going on about it. Right, I'm on an iPhone. I've got an Apple Mac. I've record and edit this on
Listen.
Logic.
I've got no problem. If you like using what I had last year, you carry on. I don't care.
I don't care either. I don't care that you had a clock or whatever the fucking calendar thing is. I don't know. I don't care.
Give a shit. I don't use half of the thing. Let me tell you. I mean, we'll go. My new car. Right? It's scary. There's so much shit in there that I'm never going to use. Literally never going to use.
Well, I made the mistake in about 2003 of getting rid of Nokia and getting a Motorola instead, because I wanted a nice little flip phone rather than the ever dependable.
Oh, so basically you knew Italian and then you went to hieroglyphics.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm never making that mistake ever again.
No.
It was like the buttons were all different, the menus were all different, and that's it. I bought an iPhone and now I'm locked into the whole ecosystem. And I know that some of the shit you get on Android is meant to be better. I honestly couldn't give a fuck.
No.
Right? No. I know what I know. I like it. What we talking about?
Oh my god, that was a middle-aged comment right there. Let's timestamp that bastard. What's that?
Grayscale. So on the iPhone, you can just grayscale it anyway. And I did this. I thought, right, I've had enough of this. I'm going to go grayscale and try and wean myself off of these flashing lights. And I would say by Monday morning, I had withdrawal symptoms. I felt awful. And I think the reason for that is that I still had the physical habit of picking up my phone and looking at it, but I wasn't getting the reward for it.
There's no dopamine. It's not the dopamine hit.
And I did feel absolutely terrible for a little while. And gradually it sort of crept back in for one reason or another. I can't remember why I don't do it. But I'm loath to do it, even though I know it's good for me. Surely this is the refrain of the addict anyway, is that I know what I need to do. I just don't want to go through that difficult bit of feeling like pretty shitty. Like, imagine that. You turn the colours off on your phone, you feel shit for 3 days. I mean,
and I think as middle-aged people, we're going, this is who I am. This is what I do. So what? And you do. Even when you're watching TV, and sometimes I've made a conscious effort now in the evenings. We're watching something, the phone stays, it gets plugged in. I've got a table that's lower than the cat side. I turn the notifications off and it stays there, and just have that time away from it, because it's so easy when you're watching TV and stuff. Pick it up. Oh, what's happened? It's that constant need for. I think it's not the information. It's that hit. It's
it's not the information. Because and even though you don't get a dopamine hit, I was still getting the physical urge to pick up my phone and look at it, even though I knew there was nothing there. So I'd pick it up, look at it, put it down again. I reckon I was doing that every 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, you look at it at the cinema. Like when I go to the cinema, and phone off, I'm a good Odeon citizen, behave myself. I don't put my phone on. I'm not a savage. But I do think about it about once every 5 minutes. I started timing it and think like go. I think, right, forget that. But next time I'm going to see how long it is. And it's about I'll go once every 5 minutes without thinking about my phone, which is, that cannot be a healthy way to live. And everyone is doing it. But then in the evening, I guess one of the things I'm conscious of is how present I am in the front room with, you're in. You're reading something else. But I wonder if I was, if it was 40, 50 years ago and I'd come home from work, would I, instead of looking at my phone, I'd just be reading the newspaper? Cause and sort of being. I don't know what the opposite, but
your wife,
I'm being absent.
Your wife would have been subservient, which is, and you know that trope of pipe and slippers at the door. You sit down, pour you a drink, you pick the paper up, dinner's on the table. So it's. Is it the same thing?
Without that, I'm saying that the method of distraction has changed, but the distraction itself is the same.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
The opposite, though, is, well, not the opposite, but the sort of counter to that is no one took a copy of the Times to bed with them, put it on the side.
Picked it up at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I'll just go and read of the fucking travel section.
Do you know the way to cure yourself? The only way this world can cure itself. Watch Bluey. If that doesn't make anyone feel like a shit dad, then I don't know what does. It's a feel-good program, but you think, oh my God, he's just the best dad in history.
Well, I don't know what to say to that, Rich.
Have you not watched it? And it's dog-friendly.
Yeah, well, that's probably why I'm anti it.
Oh, yeah. You have so many dogs, but don't...
I've been...
How are they?
I've alive. And
oh, your dogs are great.
No,
well, I don't live with them, so I'll come round, stroke and piss off again. So
yeah. Well, they also piss as well. That's one of the issues at the moment.
Can I say, when we are recording this, listener, it is the beginning of May, or as I like to call it, it's perfect butter month. And you want to know why? It's perfect butter month. This is another middle-aged thing, right? Don't buy Marge anymore because it's basically a couple of molecules away from the tub it comes in. No, it's true. It's true. If you've seen, there's videos online. I mean, it's online. It must be true. Where they put Marge in front of ants and they just go around it. It's basically a few molecules away from plastic. But real butter. So we get unsalted real butter. We don't use it on everything, but it's in moderation. There's 1 month a year it's useful. Where 8 months. It sits out. It's too hard. You can't cut it. There's May. You can pick it up off the side and spread it.
Do you know what I thought you were talking about?
What?
I thought you were going to tell me that there was like a difference in the taste throughout the month.
No.
And you were so sensitive to like Ermintrude, the cow, of being milked and the grass that she's being fed, that it had an actual impact in fucking Anchor Light or whatever.
You've known me for nearly 40 years. I'm not that deep.
That's why I'm surprised.
No, it's just the spreadability. It's the spreadability. In next month, fucked. It's got to stay in the fridge. Otherwise, it's liquid. It's got to stay in the fridge, and then you got to wait you got to plan a bit of toast 45 minutes before you want it. This is perfect butter month.
Okay.
And enjoy it.
I will enjoy it as well. I hadn't really considered it before, but that's what we're here for, though, is to point out these little treasures in life as well. I've got the garden ready as well. I was thinking about this as I was doing it. It's people look at my tattoos and gym regime, they think I'm having a midlife crisis, and of course they are right. But that doesn't mean I'm trying to recapture all of my youth. It is that sort of 1 foot here, 1 foot there kind of situation that we're in. Straddling. Yeah, we're straddling. And no better example is last weekend when I was perfectly happy doing gardening while listening to a bunch of podcasts about medieval kings. That was my...
that's lovely.
Yeah, I went
be
from
all over that.
Yeah, Edward III all the way down to Henry VII, and then you get into the Tudors, and everyone knows about that. But yeah, it was great, loved it, absolutely loved it, and so I embraced that part of it. But so somehow we've got to medieval kings and gardening when this started off with about smartphones.
that is we meandered quite hard there.
But I'm going to bring it back to the technology that you bought most recently, Rich, and you are unable to ditch your mobile phone with the Ring.
Yes.
So have you had it on? What's the verdict so far?
Yeah. Do you know what? It's taken a while because It's been down to me. I haven't had the time to get it all set up. And when I did, it was easy. You have to charge it. There's my charging base already plugged in. And you wear it overnight. I think it says about 9 to 10 hours at a time. I haven't downloaded the data yet, which will be interesting when I do. You don't really feel it when it's on. It's surprisingly comfortable, and I'd recommend it to people for casual wear and activities.
Oh dear!
Shall we say? I wasn't going to say outdoor pursuits because that can get you arrested. Yeah,
it can do. I think we should trail the fact that so this ring is made by Firmtech, a company called Firmtech. I know you're loath to advertise anything to our 9 listeners, but there we are. The reason why I'm giving the company name is because we have the CEO, Dr. Elliot Justin, coming on the show in a couple of weeks.
Do.
And I'm a little bit nervous about the the maturity with which we have dealt with his amazing invention and technology. I've seen some of his other appearances and he seems quite proud of it, and rightly so, but I don't know if a couple of us braying
Don't
away
get me
like
wrong.
donkeys will be...
I think I genuinely, after a couple of wears, think it's very, very good. And I'll be interested. What I'm going to do is use it for the next few weeks. I'm not going to upload the data because it will store the data and then put it all down in one go. So we've got a baseline, and depending on that is whether I come back on the show again or not.
Okay, well, as I say, as your dear friend, I hope everything's well as a content producer.
As a podcaster, you hope it isn't.
Well, I hope you're on the verge of a heart attack and this is the early warning system that saves your life. So you're still alive at the end of this.
Listen,
I don't want you to die.
If the last 40 years haven't killed me, this won't, surely.
Well, I've touched some wood there. I would if I were you. But yeah, I don't actually want you to die or have the heart attack. I'm not a monster. But I just want you to be near. I want you to be on the edge of having
the potential of.
Yeah, but like, if it wasn't for this, you would have had it. That would be my ideal.
No, and that's what I'm looking forward to. It's something you can put on and get some sort of medical baseline.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a really good idea. It's not uncomfortable. You can put it this way. I forgot I had it on. Now, if you could put a bit of rubber around your old chap and forget you've got it on, then it's a comfortable thing.
It speaks to his comfort. You're right. So, the circle of life. Some people think, I live on a farm as well, and I see it daily with, things dying a lot, but it's lambing season at the moment. But there's another reflection, a more acute circle that is always in our face, and that is what young people don't know.
Yeah, I need to know, because you sent me a message and I thought, I'm not even going to reply. I just need to let you explain it now.
There was someone, there were 3 people in a room, not 3 people in a room, but let me start that again. So there was a group of us at a sort of work industry social of varying age. The oldest of these, someone in their mid-40s, didn't know Sting was in the police. In fact, it was a very funny moment when she thought we were talking about the constabulary rather than the early 80s band.
How old were they?
Mid-40s.
Yeah, that's.
I don't think that's great. That's great.
No.
But then it went down the age of the. My ears immediately pricked up with this sort of stuff.
Of course it did.
So there was someone late 20s, didn't know Justin Timberlake was in a band.
I mean, the silence says it all.
Yeah.
Really?
So, yeah, didn't know. There was an intern. So at university, didn't know Harry Styles was in a band.
Jeez. Wait till they find out there was 45 Sugar Babes. They'll blow their mind.
I don't think the Sugar Babes are on there.
Really? Never knew Harry Styles?
No. But the person who told me, who brought that out of was someone in their the person who didn't know that Justin Timberlake was in a band was the one who deflected immediately to their younger colleague and said, yeah, what about this person then? Tell them about Harry Styles.
That's amazing. I mean, they were one of the biggest bands in the world not too long ago.
Yeah, and I don't know how old this person was. They were really young. They were quite young though, still at university, maybe even younger. Don't know, but yeah. So that's how fast popular culture is moving now. Is that? But
I suppose when we, and again we've discussed this before, but with things like Spotify and what have you, Tide and things like that, we grew up in the car without our own phones and what have you, listening. Your mum and dad put a tape in and you listened to it. And ultimately it was something from 20, 30 years ago and you grew up then and then you got your own taste. So you had a bit of musical knowledge, even if it was narrow to what your parents liked. You knew there was music in the 60s, 70s. Fucking hell, I still listen to Glenn Campbell in the car, a bit of Wichita Line. Yeah, but because it's what I grew up listening to. Queen, I've booked round the, they've got the Queen Nebworth concert. They're showing it on a massive screen. I booked tickets last night for me and Amanda. They've got it literally round the corner in one of the big stately homes. I can't wait for that. But I only got into that because of my dad's love for them.
Yeah.
And I think today when the kids get their phones at a young age, then they start listening to the music. They don't have that parental influence that I could be wrong, but the majority of kids, it seems, my daughter doesn't know my musical tastes.
No,
my son does, because he was from that generation. His musical taste. We went to the Foo Fighters last summer together. We had one of the best days ever because when we were in the car, he was listening to what I listened to and got into that. But I think with this generation, it's very much you find your own way.
Yeah, I tried to get the child to listen to Madonna, and she said to me, "You cannot make me like what you like." She's right. I can't.
She's right, and that's this generation. Their influences are totally different to how us, our parents, our grandparents, everyone before this generation or the last couple of generations grew
up. So you hinted at it before. Let's get it out in the open. Bought yourself a new motor, haven't you?
I did.
That has got to be one of the joys of life at any age, surely, the new car.
Let me tell you something. I absolutely love it. It's, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've drove the last car for the last 12 years. She's done me well. Businesses got better, and it was a time, let's upgrade. It's something that it's good for all the family. I can get the dogs in, but yeah, I've got electric people, so I'm
we'll
part of the
come
green
to that in a
movement.
second. The thing that I was more interested in was the range of cleaning products that you've bought for this fucking thing.
It's my ADHD is coming. My ADHD. That's what I do.
I don't understand. I don't understand that ADHD.
Because when I get something like that,
right? Okay, I'm open.
It encompasses everything, right? I clean it right. First of all, you've got to have your pre-wash, your wash. This weekend I've been watching. I watched videos for a week on how to ceramic coat it. I put a ceramic coat on it, and I didn't mess it up. But it's even my elderly neighbour across the road. I've only had it 3 weeks, and she went to me, "Gonna wear that out if you keep cleaning it as much as you do."
I'm surprised because part of my midlife issues are this feeling that I'm running out of time and my life is slipping through my fingers. No such worries with you, is there?
No.
Spending 8 hours a week polishing your motor.
My wife, love her. She's, she's so understanding. She understands my weeks. I will get to my desk. They walk out the house to do the stables and then go to school at 7:30 in the morning. My bum hits the seat and then I'm there till 5, 6 o'clock at night. I'm never off it. weekends, we have one day where we have family time, do the horses. My daughter's got shows, what have you. Then one day of the weekend is mine. So I'll spend a few hours cleaning the car, spot a golf, got to get it in and then that's my day. I put my headphones in. It's my chill day.
As you know, my disdain for golf is quite it's quite high. But it's exercise, it's sport. Get out in the countryside, spoiling walks, cleaning a car. It's just a waste of time. Surely, go on with your life.
It's black. 15 minutes after I'm cleaning it, it's fucked. I'll send you a picture of it. I cleaned it on Friday.
Yeah, that just emphasises what a waste of time it is.
For 5 minutes, I'm happy. That's all I want. That's all I need. I just want that 5 minutes of joy.
Now, I want to introduce something that was not on the running order today. Believe it or not, there is some preparation that goes into this. Exciting social experiment news. So, as I mentioned earlier in the episode, I did some gardening last week, and part of that is I had to get myself a new lawnmower, went electric with that, not quite as flash as Rich. Don't want to go into that just yet. However, my old petrol one, which every summer when I get it out of, those golf clubs that were all rusty,
fucking hell,
they were bedfellows of this lawnmower, which for over the last, it must have been about 15 years for that as well. Petrol lawnmower, that one of those pull things that's, if you look after it, it's an absolute workhorse.
Mark's not a mechanic, ladies and gentlemen. One of those pull things.
Yeah, to get it started, one of them, right? And yeah, if you look after it, Honda Izzy, it would go for about 500 years probably.
Did you? Right, you will never look after anything. You use it, it goes back in. It goes back in the shed.
Yeah, didn't look after it at all. So eventually, he just said, "Do you know what, mate? Fuck this, I'm not working." So I've got an electric one, which is a lot easier to maintain. But then what do you do with the other one? The tip has now instituted some sort of appointment system, which basically ruins the whole point of living in the countryside.
Blood test, everything like that, just so you can get in there.
So the social experiment episode of this was given to me by the local farmer. He said, "You know what we want to do? Take it up to the road and leave it there. But here's the thing. Don't just leave it. Put a sign on it. Don't say it's free, because no one will take it. It'll be there for weeks. Put a sign on it that says 30 quid. Someone will have it. They'll take it."
Did they?
Well, I was disappointed with the results because I put it there on the Saturday afternoon. I thought Saturday night it would go, and Sunday I rolled out of the drive and there it was, still there, all sad and lonely.
Yeah, but you've got to imagine, I know where you live. The footfall of where you live isn't like a busy, it's not like a busy high street or the main areas. You've got to understand that.
No, but there is a farm shop, and it is a bit of, the top of where the farm is a bit of a cut through. So there's enough people to see it. It's not like, waiting for a bus for 3 days or anything like that. I've just received news that the lawnmower has gone.
She gone,
and it only took. She's gone. Yeah. So he's right. It will. So a little tip for everyone: if you can't be bothered to go to the tip, put whatever you want to take there on the road. Put a little sign on it. I had a little honesty thing. Go and drop the money at the farm shop. No, didn't care about that. Just wanted it gone. It has gone. Victory is mine.
Or you can live where I live and. We're upgrading we're doing stuff in the garden like you are this summer, new furniture, blah, blah, blah. We had a wrought iron table and chairs. I put it out the front on the lawn. Now, we live in a close, so it's not on the main road. I swear to God. By the time I shut the door, that fucker was gone. I don't know who took it. Amanda she went, it's gone. I went, it can't do. I only put it out there half an hour. Then now it's got to the point where everything we're getting rid of, we're going, let's put it like waiting for a mouse in a trap. But you never see who takes it. It's amazing.
Right, excellent. So that is my new recycling thing. Just leave it out the front and some
put a sign on it.
Hello and welcome to the Chalotto Family Podcast. I'm Andrew, full-time dad, part-time peacekeeper, and I'll be trying to keep things under control.
Hi, I'm Dom, and I'm the one who came up with the idea for all this nonsense.
Hi, I'm Rosa. I like karate, history, and archaeology, and I'm the boss around here, obviously.
Welcome back to part 2 of Mum, Dad's Got Another Tattoo. Little advert in the middle there. First one that we had. A friend of mine's created a podcast talking to his kids. These ones are slightly less self-indulgent. They're only 4 or 5 minutes long. Couple of episodes so far as my friend Andrew talks to his 2 children at age, I think, 10 and 7, I'm going to say. So, yeah, very nice, very cute. So give that a listen. Anyway, on to our next subject. Now, it's something you brought up recently, Rich, which I was surprised, actually. Imposter syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I have... I'll tell you why I was surprised that you mentioned it, is because, you know, from the outside, you've started a business, you've had to bootstrap it from nothing, and as far as I can see, it's going very well. Bought yourself a new electric car that we can talk about. You know, how bad can it be? And yet, do you feel like you're going to be found out at any moment, which is one of the symptoms of imposter syndrome?
Yeah. That's it's like the wolf is at the door. Even though there's no reason for that, you just think, oh, if this goes wrong, that goes wrong, what happens? It's thinking about all the negative things that can happen. And yeah, just thinking, can I do, can I, as it grows now, today, I mean, obviously off air, I just said to you about the problems I've had today. Sometimes I genuinely said, I need help. But that's, I suppose, rather than my mind switching it to a negative way all the time, I'm at a point now where I think I need to bring some people in to help that. But it's always the doom side of things.
Now, a lot of those might just be the trials and tribulations of business. You know, things don't go wrong. You're dealing with people with their own priorities. But how do you think that manifests itself as imposter syndrome? Like, you're sitting there making it up as you go along and worried that at some point the whole house of cards is going to come falling down.
Yeah, a lot of the time you've got to think on your feet in this job situation. Just when you think you've seen it all, something else happens. It's just the nature of the beast, and it's making those decisions. Oh, and you second guess yourself. Have I made the right one? What if it isn't the right one? What happens then? What are the repercussions? Am I making the right decision? Luckily now I'm learning to. I'm not an expert in the field. The people below me are far more talented than I will ever be and have far more knowledge. That's my aim, is to put the right people in there, and that's what I'm trying to do. But I still second guess every decision I make.
Yeah, I think that is one of the ways in which I actually cured myself of imposter syndrome, because I had a very similar feeling. I mentioned in previous episodes, I used to work for a US company where, standards were super high, and it was, imagine what working for an American finance company's like. It was exactly like that. And when I first got there, I did actually feel like I'm never going to be able to be as good or as talented or as well informed as my colleagues. But over time, I did get up that learning curve and establish myself as, the person that I should be. But even so, I never quite lost that I'm going to get found out at any moment feeling.
That's it.
And what I later realised is that you have to be comfortable with that uncertainty. And
comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah, and just not knowing. You don't necessarily know the answers. And this finally all clicked into place when I went on a business trip. I went on a business trip to the Middle East with the Mayor of London and met the ambassadors of these countries. Don't get me wrong, You can tell how much of a... Yeah, you give it woo, mate. I was phoned on the Thursday night to see if I wanted to come on the Sunday, and then when I got to all the dinners and the lunches, someone else's name tag was in my space. So I was obviously... a last-minute... Backup. Yeah, I was not not option A. That much was very clear.
Did it hurt?
No, I loved it. It was like, I was on Kuwaiti TV, the lot.
I remember that.
And some people were saying it was very much the vibe of, England 1982.
Oh, very much.
World Cup squad meeting a dignitary, and it wasn't too far away from that. And, it was all, for the cameras, it was very sort of slick and well planned, Oh, thank you for inviting us to your wonderful country. We hope that...
Forever Roche.
There was a bit of that. There was a bit of Turkish delight and lovely Arabian coffee. I'm not really a coffee drinker, but they bring around this sort of I can't remember what was in it. It might be turmeric or something like that. But it's really herby coffee, and I don't really drink coffee at all. But this stuff was absolutely amazing. I bought some, and when I got back and poured it in, it tasted like shit. So. I spoke to a guy from Saudi about how to make it. He said, you want to do it properly, basically you need to spend about 14 hours brewing this, not boil the kettle in the office and stick it in like you make a cup of tea with a tea bag in it. No good. Anyway, bit of a diversion. But behind the scenes was the most interesting. So on this trip was the Mayor of London, not Sadiq Khan, like the Lord Mayor of London, who's basically the trade representative for the City of London. But there were some former government ministers in there, trade envoy of the British Embassy in the Middle East. Lots of people who, you would think have got their shit together. And what I actually saw on that trip was that they don't. And... I was kind of waiting, and maybe you're waiting for this moment as well, is where all this begins to make sense and you don't have to second guess all these decisions because you just know. And in that trip, I realised no one's ever going to be in that situation. And I felt like a 10-ton weight had been lifted from my shoulders that... it's brilliant. It actually reminded me, very obviously, of when I gave up smoking. I used Alan Carr, not the TV presenter, but there was Alan Carr's...
That's exactly where my mind went.
No, not him. There was a book called Alan Carr's Easy Way to Give Up Smoking, which I read, and I did. I gave up. And one of the key points in there is that there is not going to be this one moment when you walk out of bed one morning and say, right, I'm cured, I don't need to smoke anymore. It'll just be a gradual sort of thing that you realise, I haven't thought about that for a while. So if you're waiting for this... big ta-da moment
epiphany.
Where there's not going to be an epiphany. You just like one day you think, I feel totally at ease with all this and have done for a little while. It's not like some great big realization. And then so I had my team at work, which was people who hadn't heard of Back to the Future, that sort of age group, and I think it helped me be a decent manager, in my own view, that by being comfortable with that uncertainty and giving them the freedom and the leeway to be able to solve problems in the way that they saw fit. Because sometimes they would ask me, like, well, shall I do this? And you say, well, yeah, do it. I don't actually know whether this is going to work. I'm interested to find out. And I'm being so much more relaxed with that, and it feels like a weight off of my mind. It really did. And so, but I want to test to see if you really are an imposter, or at least,
or just generally worrying about stuff. That's...
Yeah, but worrying and impostering are slightly different. So let's see if... Because I think... I can't say that worry has disappeared from my life entirely.
I don't think it does for anyone.
No. Maybe I'll say something about that in a bit as well. For some pass on some training that I have received recently that has really, really helped me mentally. But for now, let's see how much of an imposter you think you are. Remember, this is on a 1 to 5 scale, with agree being 1, strongly agree, and disagree being 5. Okay. So, number 1, I appear accomplished, but that's not how I see myself. Agree or disagree? 1 to 5. What do you think? 2. So you agree? That's not how you see
agree.
yourself.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, just there.
I know how 1 to 5 works.
Well, we had a quiz a little earlier on, and there were some very basic instructions. You fucked it up, so I do need to check in. Right, number 2. I am filled with self-doubt about my abilities.
1.
1. Wow. Other people are much more capable and talented than I am.
2.
I deserve my success.
4. I've worked hard for it.
No, but that 4 would be I disagree strongly.
So again, and I 2.
2, right, okay. I feel I am faking it at my job. Agree 1, disagree 5.
Tough. I don't feel like I'm faking it. No, 4.
All right, fair enough. I have a chronic feeling of inadequacy.
2.
So you agree?
Yeah.
Right, okay. No, appreciate you sharing this. I rarely talk about my accomplishments.
3.
I am uncomfortable receiving compliments about my work.
3.
I minimise my accomplishments.
2.
I rarely compare myself with others.
4.
My achievements are the result of chance.
5. No, it's not chance.
I'm just playing the part of a successful person.
3. Because I don't see myself as a successful person.
Right, excellent. That would probably be a booster to your score, but it's not in here yet. I haven't earned the good feedback that I get.
3.
All right.
Say so.
I rarely feel confident in my abilities.
2.
I feel like I'm winging it all the time.
That's 2, yeah.
I attribute my accomplishments to luck.
4.
Last one. I am unafraid of failure. I take on new challenges gladly.
2.
Score on the test. So you're in the middle. 50 out of 100 you got. So, So when I did this, I scored 34, which is very low. And I think some of those scores were bumped up by the fact I have certain views about luck and how that plays its role in people's success. But it's much more philosophical than I was just lucky in the flip of a coin, or, it's more to do with, and I've said this elsewhere, it's more to do with where you pop out in space and time. So if you have the same attributes, talents, intelligence that you do today, but you were born in central Mogadishu, there's absolutely no way you would be in the like where you are in life.
It's a postcode lottery.
Yeah. Like on a global scale.
Yeah.
Like most of my so-called success could probably be attributed to the fact that I was born in a stable, like sort of upper working class background on the outskirts of London.
Yeah.
Most of it can be attributed, like when I started my career, I could live at home. Like, so, I could have that foundation. Maybe if I'd had those wages when I started my career, I wouldn't even been able to move to London if I lived in Manchester, say.
And a lot of people in bigger countries, they have to move hundreds, if not thousands of miles to just move themselves away from friends, family, just to pursue their work, their career.
So that is what I mean by luck in career. And even when I put that, so mine is 34, but if you took those out, it would probably be in like low teens, my imposter syndrome score, which is a function of that work trip that I was spoken to, just being totally comfortable with uncertainty, not knowing, being a little bit vulnerable at work as well, but saying, well, let's give it a go, but I'm not going to kill anyone if it doesn't work. We just don't know at this stage, and that is fine. It did sort of manifest itself on the other side a little bit when, dear listener, I'm not really sure how much details I can share of this, given that I signed a non-disclosure agreement. But fuck it, let's go for it anyway.
You're not listening.
Yeah, that's true. I tried to buy a Premier League football club.
What a time that was. What a time.
Well, I mean, it wasn't me specifically because, believe it or not, I didn't have the hundreds of millions of pounds in my pocket, but it was a genuine attempt. We had this thing where you could spend, 10-20% of your week on moonshots, and this was a bit of a moonshot. But not out of the question. I mean, the person I ultimately pitched it to, he said, "I'm curious, but I'm not interested." So he wanted to know the details, but he wasn't going to give me like the best chunk of £1 billion to buy it. Although, had it been my job, I reckon I could have convinced him. Anyway, but I do remember saying to my wife, about this, like, isn't it amazing that I've got rid of imposter syndrome? She goes, "Well, not really. You are an imposter. You can't afford to buy a Premier League football club." So it hasn't always got its major benefits. And most recently as well, I was at a work conference, and there was a speaker there, Callie Beaton. Callie Beaton she's a podcaster. She used to be, at the age of 30, on the board of ITV, and gave a really great sort of, not really a motivational speech, but sort of business adjacent. It wasn't based on my particular sector, but it was a really interesting thing. And mentioned imposter syndrome, particularly as a young woman being in a very male-dominated environment, like 20-30 years ago. And she mentioned imposter syndrome, and the people that don't suffer from it apparently are also narcissists. So I'm not quite sure what that says about me. Maybe I've cured myself of imposter syndrome.
I think we'll do the next. I think the next quiz will be yours.
That's a very good idea.
Oh, Edward Kemper over there.
So a little quiz that came out of that. What does the M stand for in MTV?
Music.
Not anymore, it doesn't.
Media?
No, just MTV as far as I'm aware. Hold on, let me find out what but it doesn't stand for, it's not music. They took no, because they don't play fucking music anymore. It's all reality stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I haven't turned MTV on in about a decade.
Well, I have, because I love a bit of reality TV. Teenage mums. But they were the. As she said, she was part of the original reality TV wave. The Real World, Cribs as well. I guess that could be called reality TV to some description. And then gradually, as time goes on, they don't play music anymore. So what's the point of having MTV? Yeah. Do you know what and another quiz question, what was the first video on MTV?
I've got two artists in my head.
Go on, go for both of them.
I've got Madonna or Michael Jackson.
No, it's the Buggles. Video killed the radio star.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was.
But then again, I didn't know that song was created by the Buggles. Can we talk about one thing? I know we were talking about, you cured your imposter syndrome and you realise everyone else is like ducks, look calm on the top, but legs are flapping underneath. How did you deal with, because we haven't discussed this yet and I need to know, how did you deal with the sock incident that happened not too long ago?
What, the wank sock?
No, not that one. The lost sock.
Yeah, the lost sock. This is I think this is a great example of how I've been cured of this. So this week I was away for business and getting ready in my hotel room, and got a pair of socks out, put one on. Could not find the other one. What the fuck have I done with it? This is so me. And this is why I bring far more socks and pants than I actually need for a trip. So it's a one-night trip. I had 4 pairs of socks and a pair of gym socks as well, just in case something happens. You never know. And lo and behold, something did happen. I couldn't find one of them, but never mind. I had another pair ready to go. About 7 hours later, I'm giving get up to give a presentation at work to my peers.
How many people?
12 maybe.
Oh, okay.
12 maybe. I mean, not hundreds of people, and they're like internal as well, so you can recover from it. I always feel worse actually presenting to internal people, because you think if you fuck it up, I've got to see you. Yeah, but fine, I'm happy with loads of people think now. I don't have to look them in the eye every day.
True.
That's the real concern of mine. And so one of the things I don't like getting up is having my shirt untucked at the back. You know, you've been sitting down for a while. So, and it was just after lunch. And so I tucked myself in. I thought, oh, shit, I've tucked my napkin into my shirt, into my trousers. But it's all right. It's a little white tissue. So I reached down and subtly got out this tissue, but of course it wasn't a fucking tissue at all, was it? It was a bright blue sock, and that is where it went. I had somehow.
So how did you style that?
How did you style it out? Do you know what? I ignored it. Right, I had this bright blue sock in my hand. I put it in my pocket. And just ignored it. And because everyone in the room was British, they all ignored it as well.
Fantastic. That's what you want.
Yeah, so I completely ignored it. But I felt fine about it. Because I wasn't playing the part of Mark, the infallible corporate titan, which of course nobody thinks I am anyway. But I wasn't trying to play up to that. I'm just a human being that makes mistakes every now and then. Yeah, and later on in the bar, I can tell it's what happened with that thing. What was it? And I can tell this story, but it didn't put me off my flow of my presentation at all. I think it's because I'm comfortable, and I think a lot of a theme that is emerging through all health, fitness. It's just about being comfortable with yourself. Yeah. Now, I would love to everyone to tell everyone how you get here, but the truth is I don't know. It's just happened. The universe came together in a certain way,
but you say that, and I guess as I'm getting deeper into this, into my business, where I'm getting more dealings with senior people, obviously I won't say too much about with local authorities. They're the people that give me my business. I realise they are freewheeling as well, and it is. They're above me. I see them as the all-powerful, decision makers. They're in the same situation, and as I've got to know some of them on a personal level, they're doing the same.
Everyone's doing the same, and it doesn't matter how far up the chain you go. And I spoke to a government minister, or former government minister, and he tells a great story about your first day as a minister. You go bounding up the stairs with all these great ideas that you've got. And
I'm going to make a change.
I'm going to make a change. Why hasn't anyone done this before? Yeah. And so you come in on your first day, and then Sir Humphrey, the senior civil servant, who's been there for 40 years and has seen 200 of you come bounding up the stairs on your first day, sits you down in a room and tells you why all your ideas won't work. Now, some people feel this is a problem with government and the civil service. I disagree hearing this story. It's because, guess what? Your ideas are not as new and original as you think they are. Someone has already thought about this, they've done the work, and there are problems that you can't foresee. There's not a filing cabinet of all these cheap, easy to implement and popular policies that they're keeping from you until someone they like turns up. Yeah. Governing is hard, right? And that's the realisation that you've got to come to. Now, some people appear not to come to that realisation and think, the fucking civil service is stopping my brilliance. I've got views about those types of people. But the truth is, you don't know. You just got to do the work. And that, that's not a sexy message. There is no button that you press. You have to just grind through it. And if you can accept that you don't know all the answers, that you're testing it out all the time, I think so much the better. And in fact, one of the other things that I've come to realise as well is that if you have two really, really similar options, and you can often agonise between, what should I do? That's really similar to that one I've done. That's the wrong time to make a decision. They're so similar that the outcome basically doesn't matter.
It's going to be minimal difference.
It's minimal difference. So don't spend minimal time thinking about it. The time to really consider things is when they're really different. that is the time to spend the the mental bandwidth in trying to cover that. So I think MTV apparently just stands for M now, but no.
Just MTV.
Yeah.
Okay. They couldn't be bothered to come up with something else.
No, I mean, someone on Reddit says it stands for Masonic, but I can't. I can't believe that's true. Yeah, I can't believe that's true. So we've been asking people to get in touch with us at Dad's Got Another Tattoo at gmail.com and Dad's Got Another Tattoo on all the socials, and people have been doing that and giving us some very lovely feedback. You heard anything through the jungle drums beating?
Yeah. My wonderful barbers.
Yeah, go on, give them a shout out.
Yeah, the wonderful barbers at 28 West Rochester High Street. If you want your barnet to look this good, look at it, silver fox.
It does look pretty good, actually. Not when you put it through the AI.
You want the film? Don't ever post those AI photos of me.
Got on now.
Yeah. So, Catholic, bless her. She's listened to all of episodes. She's up to date. I told her about it last week. Rob, God love him, known him for many years. I got the response I expected. What are you doing that for, you dick? No, but everything's been really positive, and I've had some wonderful messages from friends saying how much they've enjoyed it, and particularly the adolescence episode.
All right, that's good. That is good to know. As you say, we've got a number of guests lined up across different types, I guess. Different vibes across each of them. So it'd be great to hear from everyone what they think of those episodes. This one is just me and Rich talking shit, or you might say a normal episode. But we want people to get in touch with us with their questions, with their experiences, and Alan has done so with 2 questions. First of all, so the 2 questions are: I was talking about recently about not boozing anymore and sort of giving up. Yeah. And his question is, do you miss not having a blowout on the booze? So recently, for example, I went to Leyton Orient, an away game. My wife's a Leyton Orient supporter, so went there. And that, of course, is the classic all-day boozing venue, and I've done that many times before. I didn't do it at all. And so did I miss it? And the short answer is no, I don't miss it, because I don't feel like I've given anything up. Mentioned this before, actually. I actually find it quite socially destabilising when you talk about not drinking, especially in a British culture.
Especially this time of year, sun's out at beer gardens. It's what everyone does. And
here I am, totally comfortable sitting in a beer garden with either non-alcoholic drink. Come back to that in a second. No, I don't miss it at all, because I have lots of benefits for it, but I just decided to just stop drinking for a bit, and just for no reason other than because I didn't want to. Health and fitness was part of it as well. The sort of calorie and impact on your sleep, that sort of stuff. I just don't feel like I've given anything up. So no, but then I did wonder: am I being immoral by not drinking in these circumstances? That may seem like a strange question, but let me explain at length, obviously.
As per.
So one of my definitions of morality, especially in behaviour, is that if you behave in the way that you do, can society continue to function fine? So, for example, you take it to an extreme. Murder, for example, is not only illegal, but it's also immoral, because if you went around killing everyone every time they gave you the arm, you might feel a bit better every now and then. But obviously, society could not continue to function. Not paying your TV licence is also illegal, but I don't think it's immoral, because even though there wouldn't be a BBC, there would still be TV. So that's the distinction.
You watch TV and Channel 4, mate.
You still need a licence, I'm afraid. I think there was some loophole where you could watch iPlayer or something.
Quick one.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen a detection van. They talk about it. Did you say,
I have.
Have you?
Yeah,
I've
run
never
away from
seen
one
one.
as well.
It's a myth.
So, well, I've used to think that, right, and I've still understand that it is propaganda. And I haven't heard about TV detection vans for years and years and years. However, when I was at university, let's say there was an administrative oversight with the TV license.
Okay. Who did you leave it to?
Someone else.
Okay, yeah. And I know your housemate, so I could, if you left it to someone else, then it's never
someone
getting
else.
paid.
It turns out everyone left it to someone else. It was in no way a deliberate avoidance of paying the TV license. I want to make that clear. Just an administrative error. Anyway, one day the TV started making a really funny noise, rented from Rumbelows. Kids, ask your parents, or Radio Rentals might have been. Literally rented a TV, yeah. And the TV started making this funny noise, like beep, boo, beep, boo. What the fuck is that? And about 10 minutes after that, we had a licensed person knock on the door.
That's unbelievable.
And we rectified our mistake. Fast forward a year, we're at a different house, and once again, another administrative oversight. We haven't bought a TV license, and I was sitting there watching the snooker. Must have been the World Championships. Spending my university
What a rock and roll university lifestyle.
Studying hard, watching the snooker world. Don't even fucking like snooker.
Better to study though, isn't it?
Much better than that. And the TV made the same noise, and so I, just out of curiosity, ran out the back of the house. And went round to the front, where parked on the street was a big white van.
Yeah, an antenna on it, or?
Well, to be honest, I have no confirmation whether this was a detection van or not, but the coincidence were the same.
Yeah.
So my experience is TV detection vans are real. Where the fuck were we? What were we answering?
Alan about the drink.
Oh yeah, about boozing, and whether doing so is moral or not.
Well, I mean, it's. I mean, my outlook on it is different to yours. I'm very much of at home. No, don't drink. But for instance, had a lovely mentioning on this episode. Had a lovely golf trip the other weekend. With a few of our friends, and drinks were partaken, but it's in that social environment. That's it. It's not something that's.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about drinking being moral. I'm talking about abstaining. Is that immoral?
It's more of a laugh with it.
Well, I don't know, but this is the thing. I had a laugh anyway.
Yeah.
But am I?
You're watching the Orient.
Well, they won. They won. It was very good, actually. And when they scored, the players came over, and I was near the front, and I rubbed one of their sweaty heads. It's one of the best moments of my life. Not even an Orient fan, but yeah, I had a great time. But did I have a great time because everyone else was boozing, and I am free riding on their alcohol journey? But which, if we weren't all boozing, it would be a lot less fun. Now, another example I've got is at work. So I have done in recent times a client dinner, one in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, one in Edinburgh. Guess which one was more boozy? Yeah, not a trick question.
Yeah, do you know what? I was going to trip me up there. And which one was more fun?
Well, obviously the Edinburgh one, because not. So it was a business do anyway, but the Saudi one never got loose. No. It was all very formal, and of course, societal norms are slightly different. But these are guys that I've had beers with in London, so it's not like they're totally abstinent and they don't know how to have a good time. They do, but in that environment, it just didn't ever get loose, and it was actually quite a lot of hard
tie
work.
around the head, nothing like that.
No, nothing like that. When we did the Edinburgh one, there was wine on the table. I wasn't drinking, but plenty of other people were. And it was a really good social relationship building exercise. Really worked well. So if everyone behaves like me, and abstains, everything gets a little less fun.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you the question again. Do you think abstaining is wrong?
I think it's up to the individual. I think it's up to, have they had issues with alcohol? How are they on it? Because not everyone is laughy, jokey. Some people get punchy.
Yeah, they do. You're right.
Which will ruin any environment, whether it be business or a night out with your friends.
Yeah.
So I think it's down to the individual.
Yeah, no, you're right. But even so, I do still feel that societal pressure to do it.
Go and have a drink.
Yeah. And there's, like, for some people, that is a real dangerous thing. For me, I could have a beer tomorrow, it'd be fine. And not like I'm strong enough to have one. That's the thing. I always find that I need to qualify that there's no sort of addiction, problem that I had. I just stopped. And yeah, I still feel the pressure to have a drink. There's a client dinner coming up, and originally it was just going to be me and this other guy, and he's going out afterwards. He said, let's make it a boozy one. And I didn't really know how to say I don't want to.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, luckily, a colleague of mine and one of his is joining in, so I'll be able to, again, hide in plain sight by not boozing. But I really didn't know how to approach that. I still don't have the tools to do it. I've got a sort of a dinner... You can tell I work really hard.
Getting tattoos on trains or at dinners.
Yeah, well, that's what I've climbed the mountain.
See, that's one thing I miss. That's the one thing I miss. Setting your own business up is great. The freedom. I'm in control. I have no one to answer to. There's no 9 to 5. If I need to go and do something, I do it. Mate, Christmas parties, your shit on your own. Let me tell you.
Well, I totally disagree. I fucking hate Christmas parties, either, like boozing or not. But yeah, I still don't know how to navigate that particular landscape of saying I don't. It's okay when you're in a group, but let's say like someone wants to order a bottle of wine and get all the bonhomie with your mates. I still don't know how to do that. On the other hand, one of the things I would really love to do is have a 0% beer or Guinness in the office at like 9 a.m.
Just see the reactions.
Yeah. Why? Because
why can't you?
Well, I guess
social norms.
Yeah, technically, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do it.
Imagine if you rocked up with a 6-pack of Guinness, put them in the fridge, marks. Put your name on it. Just left them there. Just open one when you wanted it.
But what about, I'm sitting there, I've got a pint of Guinness next to me. Now, it's only a soft drink. A soft drink. And yet I still would dream of doing it.
Oh, you do the proper pour.
Yeah, do the pour, everything. Have it in a glass there with a nice little creamy head. What's wrong with that? I still wouldn't do it. It seems weird, doesn't it? Maybe it'll change in years to come. But
listen, if I'm going to be the guinea pig for certain things, you've got to try this out. Because no one can say anything.
Yes, they can. Yeah, they can. Like, maybe your time away from corporate world has blinded you to this. You need to protect yourself in these.
I'm sorry, you couldn't get sacked for having a soft drink.
No, but it could kick off a pro. Look, everyone at some point could get the boot.
But then you're going to get the fella that spoils it. Going, I'm telling you, the alcohol free, and he's going to be absolutely smashed at his desk at 12 o'clock.
Well, it's not only that. You could always, you make yourself a bit of a target unnecessarily. Yeah. That's the real thing. And I'm not quite senior enough to tell the CEO to fuck off, no matter how much I want to.
You've got this thing.
Well, the chances are very high that he's not listening. You're right. We got another question.
Go for it.
From Alan. He said, grenade protein bars that you eat. Someone like Eddie Abu with over 4 million Insta followers would say that you're eating artificial shit and protein is only via eggs, meats, nut and fish. What would your counter be to that? I've got 2 counters to it, really, which is that, firstly, my grenade protein bar is not a replacement for eggs or meat. it's a replacement for Twixies and Kit Kats. Because after I had something to eat at lunch, I really like something sweet and chocolatey. And yeah, I know it's not the ideal
Pure source of protein.
But it's better than I would have anyway. And maybe if I was like a stage competitor bodybuilder, maybe I would bin them off.
I'll tell you something though. Eddie Abu, if he was in a room and told me to stop eating grenade bars, that's one intense man. Have you watched his videos?
Well, I did. I've loaded it. I hadn't heard of it before.
So entertaining, but he's very intense.
Yeah, he is intense, but he's also part of this. Natural is the only way, and I guess if you're optimizing 100%, then it is. But if I was a fitness influencer and 100% of my time could be dedicated to that, maybe I would do it as well.
And that's the key. That's the key, because these guys, that's what they do. I'm sure they've got families. But they don't have. That is the job. That is their job. They don't to promote that lifestyle is their job.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything has to fit around ours, the diet and everything like that. I mean, I normally run downstairs and have a meal replacement shake. That's my lunch. That's my healthy part. But I'm sure he'd say something about that. I've seen videos of people saying.
Yeah, and they, you're eating processed shit, and to some extent you are. However, there is a bit of a natural fallacy to this, because snake venom is natural, but you wouldn't fucking drink that, would you? You take protein powder as well. I mean, it is that, and creatine are two of the most well-researched supplements in fitness world, and they're universally positive. I mean, if you're gonna eat protein shakes only, then you're gonna have some macro and micronutrient deficiencies, of course, but part of a balanced diet, all of that. And
it could be a mess by the morning.
Yeah. You do have to. So I try and optimize as much as feasible for my particular lifestyle.
And that's it. It's making those incremental changes that benefit you and work around your lifestyle.
Yeah, and so I will continue to eat grenade bars because I fucking like them. It's not about it's like not being an austere. This is not about being an austere monk-like figure. Is going down to like 4% body fat. It's just like I want to be in the best shape that I can be feasibly. Yeah. And that's one way of doing it. 20 grams of protein.
Grenade are helping because they're half the size of the fucking bars as well.
I'll get the full size one. So I told you, subscription. That's the best way to do it. So yeah, we want people to get in touch with us, just like Richard's hairdressers. What they called? Remind me.
28 West, Rochester High Street.
Yeah,
go and see them.
Yeah, looking fresh, Rich.
One little peng.
Peng. I don't even know what that means, but sounds like it's positive.
She won't.
Yeah, so everyone else, please get in touch with us. If you do have nice things to say, it'd be great if you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get yours. All that sort of stuff helps us build this community. But really, from the bottom of our hearts, thanks for taking some time and listening. It's we haven't got an audience of millions and billions yet, but it's off to a good start, and we really thank you for your support.
We really
so get in
enjoy doing
touch.
it.
Yeah, and we hope that comes across as well. But we will leave it there for now. Until next time, thank you very much, and goodbye.
See you.